Hi guys, I hope that you are doing well, and I'm back with another video. Today we're going to be talking about full moon in Pisces that is coming up on August 30th or 31st, depending on where you are in the world. And this is kind of one of my favorites because I am a Pisces rising, so I am a little biased about it. And I would say that overall, if you are experiencing this full moon in your first or seventh house, then you are going to feel very special. Around this time, at the very end of summer, you're going to be able to look back at many years or months. And why I say years, because it is I would say loosely conjunct Saturn retrograde. You're going to be able to look back at everything that you have gone through, everything that you have overcome, and possibly even pat yourself on the shoulder, or maybe feel like you have grown up. Feel like you've done some adult things, some grown-up things, so that you've achieved certain things, and that it is a reason to celebrate. It is a reason to be proud of yourself. So I would think that Pisces rising especially and Virgo rising are going to feel a really positive, or I should say really rewarding influence from this full moon. But of course I am going to talk about those signs later. But before I start, I also want to mention other signs that will be influenced by this full moon. Of course it is Sagittarius and Gemini, but I wouldn't say that you guys are going to be impacted as strongly as Pisces and Virgo. I also wouldn't think that you can receive like a negative impact, even though yes, it is a square aspect, and especially it could maybe be felt more intense if you have a sun in Sagittarius or Gemini. But to be honest with you, I think that is just going to highlight a very important area of your life that you've been working very hard on, that you've been putting a lot of hard work into. So when you think about that area of life, you're like, oh my gosh, this is so difficult, this is so time consuming, or this is taking all of my energy, all of my strength, whatever that is. I believe that this is where you're going to see some kind of a result finally, or a culmination. It's like a hard work type of energy. It's something difficult. It's not something easy that you had to possibly deal with, right? When it comes to Sun in Pisces and Sun in Virgo, and this energy can be felt slightly differently than for rising signs and those in those signs, because you would be feeling a little bit more maybe responsible around this time. It's not so much what exactly is going to happen, it's more like how you're going to feel around this time. Yes, you may feel really proud of certain things that you've done, or you may feel like there is still some hard work that needs to be finished, right? But it's about feeling somehow around this full moon rather than the event happening, if that makes sense. But it's also I believe a pretty rewarding time for you as well, even if you are a sun sign. When it comes to really positive energy, of course, this is going to be fellow water signs, Scorpio and Cancer. I believe that you will also see the results from a lot of hard work from Saturn conjunct this full moon. You'll be able to see how far you've come, and you will also gain some sort of a positive outlook for your future because of the past, certain results that have been received in the past, or I should say leading up from the past to the present. You will also feel very optimistic about what's to come in the future. And I would say especially, actually this will be equally positive for sun sign in the water signs in Scorpio or Cancer, and also in if you've got ascendants in those signs. And yeah, that's pretty much what I wanted to say. I do want to mention, I will still be kind of repeating this in every horoscope anyway, but I did want to mention this, that people would be surprised around this full moon how far back this can go, how many years back this can go, these achievements, these results, this hard work. It doesn't just have to be that 6-month period from the new moon in Pisces 6 months ago to now. This might be years ago, and you might start finally seeing results now, or you may look back at those times when everything was really difficult, right? And come to some sort of conclusion and still, I want to say, receive an outcome. Because it's a full moon still, it's a culmination. Something is going to occur, maybe gradually, right? With Saturn, it might be a slow process, but it can take you many, many years back. Could I say that this is a karmic full moon? Yes, to some extent, even though it's a loose conjunction, in my opinion. But I think it's got something to do with your karmic purpose and something finally fulfilled by this time, karmically. If you do, whatever sign you are, if you do feel like it's a very challenging time around this full moon, it might be fair to say that maybe certain karmic lessons have not been learned yet. Could be wrong, right? Because who am I to judge or to speak about it, to speak about karma? But my assumption is if you're really struggling through this full moon, there are some karmic lessons that you're still processing. But let's move on to the signs. I actually want to start with Pisces. Hi Pisces, I hope that you are doing well. So the full moon is happening in your first house if you are obviously Pisces rising. And it's a very personal one for me as well, you know, because I am a Pisces rising. I've been through a lot in life, and once Saturn shifted into my first house, I realized how much of an adult I became. And obviously, I mean, I'm 34, so it's about time, right? But I just realized how much I've overcome and how much I have achieved. And I feel like with this specific full moon, with Saturn in our sign, this is still kind of foreign to us. I think we're going to feel that we're no longer this dreamy, kind of like head in the clouds type person that zones out all the time, that doesn't really want to see a solid future, right? We just kind of go with the flow. We may not actually be that way anymore. And it might be because of the hard circumstances in our life that have happened and fucked us up, I'm sorry to say that, or maybe it is because we've achieved a lot, you know, we learned the hard way, or maybe for some of us the easy way, right? But we learned the right way. Whether it's easy or hard is the right way for us. And we are transforming. We are learning karmic lessons. We are correcting our mistakes. And whatever happens with this full moon in the first house, I think you're going to feel a lot of accomplishment. You're going to feel like you did grow up and you've achieved something on your own completely without anybody's help. Now, on a very simple level, mundane, right, level, I would say that this could manifest as, for example, you achieving something with your physical looks, maybe with your physical body that you've wanted for a while, but you achieved it through hard work. For example, you've, I don't know, lost weight, gained muscle, and you know, that's exactly how much you wanted to lose. That's exactly how much you wanted to gain. And, you know, with Saturn, it's always difficult. Obviously, it's a challenging journey to weight loss or to, I don't know, gaining muscle, to achieving the body that you want, right? It could be maybe something that you decided to purchase for yourself. It's almost like a reward for all of your hard work, and you're proud of yourself that, you know, to the last penny, this is yours and nobody helped you. You did it on your own. This could also be maybe that some Pisces recently became a parent, right? And this is also a lot of responsibility on your shoulders, that realization how much responsibility you have on your shoulders, but yet you enjoying the outcome of this and understanding that you can do it. And maybe, of course, depending on your chart, you know, for some Pisces people, it might be challenging, the whole Saturn influence, you know, but if Saturn is relatively nicely aspected in your chart, or if you just kind of lived with the challenges, you know, and just learned how to overcome them, this is a very positive full moon to look back, to reflect, to even look years back, you know, and see how much you've how far you've come. I think it's like deeper than just your ordinary full moon that happens, you know, once a year in your first house. It's deeper. It's very karmic, it's very almost psychological, you know, like you need to realize that you should give yourself credit sometimes, and that no, you're not all flowy and you know, watery and wishy-washy. No, you are a pretty serious person with pretty serious goals, and yes, you can achieve them just fine, like anybody could, you know. So it's like, that's the kind of realization. You could also, for example, change your status around this time. I am finishing up changing my last name on all of the documents. I've been married for some time now, but I still have not changed my last name on some of the documents. On the most important ones, the governmental ones, yes, but everything else, still no. And I'm actually about to finish one of the last documents, you know, to remove my old last name and to change it completely on everything. And that could be that final step for me, you know, like almost like a, in a way, a new identity kind of with the new last name. And same could go for you, you know, something similar. But regardless, is the time to feel proud. But it's also the time to not relax and only pick up on that powerful energy that we're given right now and continue moving forward, continue setting new goals, continue achieving them with all that responsibility and the maturity that Saturn has given us already in such a short period of time. So good job, Pisces. And I think you'll like this full moon. That's all I gotta say. But now we're moving on to Aries. Hi Aries, I hope that you are doing well. So for you, this full moon is happening in the 12th house, super spiritual, super deep. You are currently having a Saturn transit through your 12th house, and that one is pretty hard to deal with. You know, a lot of times, especially if you're Aries rising, I'm talking to you. A lot of times, you know, this is the energy of loss, almost in a way, losing something that you're so used to and adapting to this new environment where you're almost hidden in a way and your voice isn't always heard, and you need to work extra hard to be heard, to be understood. There could be a lot of insomnia involved here, you know, a lot of stress involved. Sometimes it's almost subconscious and it's not actually something that's wrong in your reality. It's your mind messing with you. So a lot of that could be playing a factor here. So overall, you know, the journey may be a little bumpy, but with a full moon in the 12th here, it's like there is something here that you have accomplished in the area of psychology, in the area of how to deal with your inner demons, how to deal with your mental issues to some extent, right? There's something here that you have overcome or are about to start overcoming, and it could be deeply psychological. It could be something traumatic that you've been trying to heal for a while, and maybe you've always had an issue facing it, you know, looking back, working through it, but now there seems to be this progress that you're noticing, you know, that maybe you are actually feeling better. And yes, it had to be a lot of, you know, hard work to manage this, to overcome certain fears or certain emotional traumas, but here you are working through it, and it's the time to be proud. It's the time to realize that not everything is so wishy-washy. You know, you actually made something come to fruition. You actually created something. You set a goal and you achieved it. It could also be the end to a hidden project of some kind, and it doesn't have to be like a work project or a creative project. Of course it could be, but it could also just be something very private to you, a very private matter that again cost you a lot, and it was a lot of hard work, and now it's coming to fruition. Now maybe you're ready to kind of showcase it to the world, or maybe you're ready to just be done with it. You know, for me, for example, this reminds me of like an immigration process. You don't talk about it with everybody. It's pretty private matter, but it's also a very stressful matter, and it can take years, right? So this is something that could be coming to an end, where maybe you are able to get your documents, right? Or maybe you're able to travel, to immigrate. You're able to maybe see someone that you haven't seen in a long time. That could also be the case here. And also, it is the time where maybe you're no longer going to be so hidden. Yes, Saturn will be, will be in Pisces for a while, so this is still a lengthy transit, and you will really feel the benefits of it when it's actually ready to go into your first house, but that's in a couple years. But for now, it is you learning how to really adapt to this energy and how to work with it and how to not fear it and how to use it to your advantage. And if you are experiencing a lot of almost like urge to heal, please use this opportunity. It's one of the best opportunities to actually go to a therapist or take on a spiritual practice. I don't know, start with like a gratitude journal, something simple, but do it for your mental health. And I think that a lot of Aries can see some results here from healing, from maybe learning how to heal the past wounds. And again, on the mundane level, can play out as a hidden project coming to an end. Now you can showcase it to the world. Now you are a lot less hidden, right? People are noticing you. There are offers coming. Maybe you were kind of working from home, or you were kind of hidden in the corner of the office, and now you get your whole room by yourself or something right in the middle of the office, or now you start coming to the office instead of sitting at home working from home. So it's like more people are noticing you. Either way, it's a good time, and it's the time to look back and realize how much you've overcome. So that's it for Aries. Thank you guys so much for watching. Now we're moving on to Taurus. Hi Taurus, I hope that you are doing well. So for you, this full moon is happening in the 11th house. And Saturn in the 11th, I have Saturn in the 11th in my natal chart, so I can tell you all about it. But when you have a transit of Saturn through the 11th house, you really start questioning your community, your circle, who is around you. You feel maybe sometimes that it's really hard to end certain relationships, but yet you realize over time how toxic they are, and no matter how attached you are to them, right? Because Saturn also glues things together. You feel like you need to make that decision. You need to make that choice. And with the full moon here, it seems like something is culminating in regards to your community. It could be that maybe you are making a final decision. It's a hard decision, but maybe to separate from a certain group, a certain community, a certain team of people that you realize are not really teaching you anything. And I would say that, truthfully, this could also just suggest that there is some kind of a ending in regards to possibly not being included in a group, because Saturn sometimes brings you a mature circle, a circle that can teach you something, a circle that holds some sort of wisdom. And for me, at some point, it was the spiritual community that really helped me and shaped me as a person. I don't agree with certain things that they do nowadays, but it's not the point, right? It's what's on your journey now and what you should be accepting now. So there might be a community, I don't know, a forum, a Facebook group, a community in person, I don't know, some sort of coven, of people that you really relate to, and they also have been through things that you have been through. So this could be the time where, enough being alone, how about you join a community? But this can, like I said, also be a time where you might detach from the community because it's like, ew, it's toxic, like I'm not sure if I want to be involved, and so on. And this is good, this makes you feel proud because you've made that decision, you decided to follow your own path. This could also be the time where a wish is going to come true. And yes, I believe with Pisces, especially occupying 11th house, your dreams might be sometimes almost unrealistic. However, this one with Saturn there, it's like Saturn is like, well, I can make your dream come true. Because yes, you're going to have to work hard for it. It's not going to fall on you from the sky, but I can help you here. I can make those dreams not something wishy-washy, right? But I can make them a reality. And it could be a dream that you you know, may have had long time ago. Because keep in mind, I think I forgot to mention this. I forgot to mention this in the beginning of the video, that everything here is retrograde. You know, Saturn is retrograde. Sorry, Neptune, which rules Pisces, is retrograde. Even Mercury, you know, Sun is in Virgo. Mercury is retrograde. There's so much retrograde motion. There is so much going back and further and further and further into the past. So this could be a dream that you may have had years ago. And now something here is becoming real. So it's a good full moon for you guys. And yeah, I hope that this was helpful. And now we're moving on to Gemini. Hi Gemini, I hope that you are doing well. So you are one of the people that will experience this, I guess, more strongly, right, than other signs, because it's happening in your 10th house if you are Gemini rising. I still want to repeat myself a little bit. If you are Sun in Gemini, this is still a pretty significant energy because it is squaring you. And Saturn is squaring you as well. So this overall feels like you are climbing the ladder or climbing a mountain almost, in a way. And something keeps trying to, you know, push you off your track and kind of drag you down, make you take a few steps back. And you may have been feeling that push and pull. If you are especially an early Gemini, up to like 8 degrees. But at the same time, I would say that this is showing, this full moon will highlight, whether you are Sun in Gemini or Ascendant in Gemini, how much you've achieved in your status, in your community, or in your work. Because 10th house is the top of the chart, right? This is seen by everyone. All of your achievements are pretty much seen by everyone right now. So I would say whatever you want to do, if you want to get really serious in the next couple of years or now, or you've already been trying, right? If you want to get really serious about your future, really serious about your status, really serious about your career, this is a really good opportunity, you know, to use this energy to your advantage, even if it's squaring you. But when it's squaring you, this is when you come up with the best decisions. This is when you come up with the best options, the best pathways, because crisis makes you really think. Crisis makes our brain really work. So I don't know if you're experiencing crisis. Like, I'm not going to say that, oh, I'm sure you are. You know, no, I'm not going to say that. Everybody's different. Everybody's chart is different. But I would say that this is the time to look back and actually be proud of what you have achieved in your career or your status, right? Or your community, your purpose, because this can take you years back. This does not have to be the last 6 months. Neptune, right, which is the ruler of Pisces, is retrograde around its during this full moon. The Sun is in Virgo. Mercury rules Virgo, also retrograde. Saturn, that it is loosely conjunct, is also retrograde. It can take you years back. So I would say that there is something culminating in your career, or maybe your path overall. Maybe you're changing your status, you're in the middle of changing your status, and it's something major in your life. And it's definitely a path to more maturity, a path to more responsibility. But you look back and you're like, you know, I wasn't even sure what I wanted to do for a living, for example. I wasn't even sure if I wanted to ever get married, for example, right? Like 5 years ago. And look how much you've achieved now. Or look what kind of path life is putting you on. Especially if you're Gemini rising. So it's quite a path. You know, it's quite a path. And you're definitely learning a lot along the way, and you are unlocking new potential within yourself to achieve more, to achieve bigger things in your career, to not be so wishy-washy about what you want to do, but to actually set goals and achieve them. Very specific, very like narrow almost in a way. And if you're still uncertain, don't worry. This full moon can really show you what exactly you need to be doing right now. And even if, let's say, the full moon doesn't show you, you will have a couple years to figure it out, but I promise you, you will. You will definitely figure it out, and you will thank yourself even for all the challenges that this may be putting you on, because you will be really set. You will be really set. And you will like it. You will like that stability that you have. But thank you guys so much for watching. And now we're moving on to Cancer. Hi Cancer, hope that you are doing well. You are having a pretty nice full moon here in your 9th house. So I would say maybe for some people, this is an opportunity to either travel or an opportunity to learn something that isn't just relevant for your past, but also is going to be very relevant for your future. I want to say for the next couple of years. Full moons culminate things, they end things, right? And they give us results, but they can also indicate that there is something that we have done in the distant past, or maybe 6 months ago, 3 months ago, that can lead us to a very powerful new path that will be unfolding for the next however long, right? Months, years, and so on. So once we are ending something, this isn't where it ends. There's something new that begins. And for you, 9th house is so wide and rich with different events and things that could occur. I would say if there was a study, a specific study that you were doing, whether it's off school time, off work time, or it was actually your main source of study, like for example, university, right, or school of some kind, there may be some results seen here, and it's the time to be proud of those results because they're useful now. You know, Saturn makes them useful. And it's like, okay, so I did not waste my time on this course, or I did not waste my time on this major, on this university. You know, I feel like this is this is giving me some sort of a foundation for the future. It's that moment of realization that it's not all wishy-washy, you know, or almost like transparent in a way, or I should say actually not transparent, I want to say foggy in a way. Quite the opposite, because you know, sometimes we could be, for example, me, you know, I went to university to be an interpreter, and I still, you know, until my last year, I wasn't even sure whether or not I wanted to do this for a living. And that same energy could possibly be present for some people that are learning something new. Cancer rising people especially, it's like, do I really need this in my life? Is this what I really want to do? That realization that either you're on the right track or maybe there is a better opportunity, it can be kind of appearing around this full moon where you understand now, okay, so this is probably what I should be doing. But it's a positive energy here. It's not the energy of wasting time. It's the energy of lots of hard work and receiving results and feeling good about them. It's the time where the fog is gone, you know, and you can see the path clearly, whether it's in education, whether it's in immigration. There could also be, by the way, positive results coming from some sort of a legal matter that you might be involved in, immigration matter that you might be involved in. A document comes, and it might come with a little bit of a delay just because Saturn is retrograde around this time, but it can also not come with a delay. It can come on time, or like the results can come on time, but from a very distant past, because there's so much retrograde energy going on around this full moon that I wouldn't be surprised if there is something that you've been dealing with for years that could actually culminate around this time, or at least you receive some sort of news about it, right? It's like something uplifts you here, something brings you positivity and optimism for the future. And yes, of course, it can also be just on the mundane level. You travel abroad, you know, or you're done with your trip abroad, you're coming home, or this could be, you know, education ending, and now you're like, okay, great, now it's time to start applying for jobs, and I know exactly what I want, and you know, I know maybe even what company I want to work for, right? Something like that. For some people, This could be a relationship with some sort of practice, maybe astrology for some, maybe a certain philosophy, certain religion. There are some results coming from this particular thing, and these could be the results that are really fruitful. But these could also be results where, you know, Saturn almost sobers you up and finds something that actually works for you. For example, I don't know, you want to do something for a living. I don't know, read tarot for a reading, for example. But Saturn can actually bring you that opportunity if this is truly meant for you. And you can start, you know, monetizing on tarot or whatever else, right? But if it's not your thing, if it's not your path, Saturn will put you on a different path that's actually right for you, makes more sense for you. Because it's not all about wishy-washiness anymore of Pisces. You know, it's about actually getting real and very specific with what you want. But overall, it's positive. It's really, really positive energy, and I'm excited for you here. But that's it for Cancer. Thank you guys so much for watching, and now I'm moving on to Leo. Hi, Leo. I hope that you are doing well. So for you, the full moon is happening in the 8th house. This is extremely psychological, I guess. A lot of Leos, especially I want to say Leo rising people, could be feeling like the crisis, if they are experiencing crisis, it's like big crisis. If you know, it's something really small, like a little issue for someone else, for them it's like blown out of proportion. You know, they could have felt this way maybe for years, maybe for months. And I like full moons in the 8th house, just like sometimes I like full moons in the 12th house, because if there is a difficult situation that is happening in your life, for example, with your health, whether it's your mental health or your emotional or physical health, there could be an outcome here. There could be almost like a, you know, a good professional found, you know, with Saturn. But there is some sort of energy of the past here, you know, connected to this. It's not a new issue, nor is it a new professional maybe, because Saturn retrograde, you know, Neptune, which rules Pisces, is also retrograde at around this full moon. So there are some old methods, but those old methods somehow work for you now. Whether it comes to your health, right, or it comes to your mental state, it's like you've dropped out of therapy a long time ago, now you're going back to it, and it's really like you're seeing the results. You're finally starting to see the path clearly. You're finally starting to see where those gaps are and what you need to do to improve your health, or what you need to do to just start feeling better, to start feeling more like yourself. There is definitely, you know, a situation that is critical almost in a way that could be coming to an end, or at least with Saturn being there and with Pisces overall occupying the house, it could just be that it's becoming visible now. You know, you actually see it clearly. It's no longer wishy-washy. You know exactly where the problem lies. And that's another, you know, that's a pretty great opportunity to actually fix something that seemed almost invisible before. Financially, there could be some sort of a source of income, not necessarily being cut off, but it coming to some sort of a change, you know, to a point where it's shifting. And it could be that your partner, for example, starts making more or less. It could also be that maybe, again, you may be approved for a certain loan, but it could also be that with Saturn being there, it's like enough of this support, this supplemental source of income that maybe isn't actually your source of income, like you don't actually make that money, it comes from somewhere else, right? Maybe how about we remove that, because Saturn wants to teach you self-reliance, right? So it could be the case here as well for some people, you know, people that, for example, are just getting out of that, I don't know, student age, you know, and are ready to work, ready to get on their feet, and so on. So yeah, this could be that. But I would say, in the most positive way, a certain difficult situation could finally come to an end, and you look back and you're like, damn, it was so hard to deal with, you know, because Saturn is there. It's hard, and it could be something that you've dealt with for years, because Saturn is retrograde. It's like this heavy karmic energy. It's one of those situations where, you know, there's like a dark cloud over you and it follows you everywhere. That kind of problem in your life. There is some sort of clarity here about it. Maybe it's ending completely. Maybe there's just clarity about it. You can see it clearly. You know what to do. So regardless, I think you will benefit from this full moon. But thank you guys so much for watching, and now we're moving on to Virgo. Hi Virgo, I hope that you are doing well and you are the stars of the show, just like Pisces. Now, if you're Sun in Virgo, I would say that this full moon is impacting you in a way where there are possibly demands of, there is a responsibility in your life. There is a major responsibility in your life. It's hard to say what it is, right? Because if you're Sun in Virgo, I can't pinpoint what area of life it's in, but it is quite a responsibility, and sometimes it's very heavy. Sometimes it makes you feel good because you actually succeed and you work really hard. It makes you work hard even if when you don't want to. And it's like it's on and off energy, you know. Sometimes it's very hard but rewarding, and sometimes it's very hard and you want to give up. But there is some sort of clarity about this heavy responsibility around this full moon, and it almost becomes less invisible, less wishy-washy, and more clear, more specific, more precise, and you can easier work with this energy and navigate it somehow. Now, if you're a Virgo rising, now this is happening in your 7th house of relationships. So I would say that whatever happens here around full moon will not only depend on you strongly, but it will also depend on your partner, right? Whoever you're dealing with, business partner, romantic partner. There may be someone here that plays just as of an important role as you are. It could be that something is coming to an end in a relationship itself. With Saturn being there, you know, it seems like there are difficulties, either difficulties in a relationship or overall there is like a difficult relationship in your life, a difficult person in your life, and you are trying to find a solution maybe, and this full moon could give you a solution. Now, if you are working with something together with a partner, business partner, romantic partner, friend, whatever, but they are somehow involved with you, great. You know, the outcome might depend on them more than on you, but at the same time, it's like they work with you together somehow. It's a lot of hard work, and boom, something gets solved here. For example, you've been waiting to sign some sort of a deal, some sort of a financial deal. Mercury is retrograde around this time. Mercury rules you, and you're you might feel a little scattered around this time, and looking back a lot more than into the future. A lot of retrograde energy is going on around this full moon, so I'm not sure how great it is in terms of like signing documents, but if there is something that has been needing to be signed, I think it will be. Regardless, I think it will be. A legal matter can finally come to an end, and it's something that you fought for, something that you really you were nervous about, possibly, you know, something that Saturn definitely put you through, like a challenge. And Saturn is retrograde around this full moon, so that means that, you know, this could take you years back, not just 6 months, when there was a new moon in Pisces, and I do not remember when exactly that was, but you know, this is taking you way back, possibly, you know, maybe years back, and you're realizing how far you've come in a certain relationship, or maybe in a certain position at work, right? Yes, a lot depends on other people, but working with other people here, it's almost like it's unfolding nicely in a way where you are able to receive that support from others. You're able to receive like a good word, you know, able to receive support from other, like I said, from other people, and conclude something major. Or maybe not so major. Maybe it's just a part of your journey that you are concluding now and continuing to move forward. There could also be that with Saturn in your 7th house, there may be almost like a teacher. There is someone in your life that is mature, someone that you look up to, and they're teaching you something. Maybe skills, right? Maybe wisdom, maturity overall. But they could play an important part, in this event. They could give you something, some sort of a piece of knowledge that you can use to succeed. But this could also be maybe you growing closer with someone in your life, or possibly, depending on whether or not, there is crisis in your relationships, possibly grow apart. That could also be the case. I think, though, that for you, this is the time to look back and pat yourself on the shoulder and tell yourself how proud you are, how great you are, how much you have matured, how much you have achieved. Even if you don't think you've done enough, even if you don't think you have come this far, you actually have. You definitely have. And it's a great opportunity to feel that pride, that you have achieved a lot. And yes, because it's in the 7th house, it may be something legal. It may be something connected to your relationships, like your personal relationships. It may be connected to finances. It may be connected to some sort of deals. Immigration could be connected to that as well. I talk about immigration a lot because from my personal experience, I've had a lot of different transits happen, and I tracked them when they were happening, during what events. And full moons in the 7th, new moons in the 7th, for sure. So that too. But it is time to look back and be like, yep, the journey is not easy, but I'm coping with it, I'm handling it, and I think I'm growing and maturing and moving forward. And it's a good time to set new goals. If there is a big goal that you achieve, either it's with someone or by yourself, right, and it somehow benefits others, benefits your relationships, well, don't hesitate to start thinking about new goals and how to achieve those. But thank you guys so much for watching, and now we're moving on to Libra. Hi Libra, hope that you are doing well. So your full moon is happening in the 6th house, and it is loosely conjunct Saturn retrograde. So there may be full moons in the 6th sometimes can be a little tricky in a way, because 6th house does rule our health. So yes, there can be an underlying issue that may be coming up around the time of the full moon to be dealt with, right? And with Saturn retrograde, this could be a long, an issue that you have forgotten about. It could be something from the past, from a very distant past. Now, on the other hand, this can just suggest that you are achieving something in your physical health, in your physical strength. Possibly Saturn rules resistance, right, and weights. So it could be that you may actually be almost like achieving the body of your dreams through sports. Around this time, you look in the mirror and you're like, yes, I'm so proud of what I have going on here. This could also be that maybe again you are able to battle a certain issue and conquer it, right, and be successful over a certain issue when it comes to your health. Now, of course, I gotta mention that 6th house does a rule work, right, routine and all that. So yes, there could be a major project coming to fruition around this time, but it's a very challenging project. It's not just something that you take lightly. It's not something that was short-term, short-lived. It could be a very long, difficult project that may have lasted a lot longer than 6 months. And this is something that you're like, whew, finally, finally, because now I don't need to spend so much time on it. Now I'm gonna have more free time, or now I can use my time to do something else, right? To focus on a new project. There's definitely something almost like hard work related here in the 6th house, and it could be health related, and it could be work related. There is definitely a lot of effort put in this. And if you're like, well, I don't really work out, I didn't really do anything special about my health, something to be, proud of, and I'm retired, I don't work, so what is this going to be for me? 6th house is our day-to-day life, our routine, everything that's in order and out of order. So there is something here changing in your life, changing in your schedule that will alter the lifestyle that you currently have, and will possibly give you either new responsibilities or give you something to manage. And that way your schedule changes, your schedule becomes different, and you start paying attention to some other things. And it's not so much a new beginning, it's more like, well, this no longer is going to be a thing, right? You maybe, I don't know, you get used to doing something specific every week. But now, I don't know, something happens and you no longer do it, and you realize that this is actually better for you, that it's not happening anymore, because you could have spent that time on doing something more productive. So that's how it can play out. But I hope that this was helpful, and now I'm moving on to Scorpio. Hi Scorpio, I hope that you are doing well. I think that this full moon holds a lot of happiness for you, or I wouldn't say happiness, but at least joy to some extent, because it's happening in your 5th house, house of joy. So yes, this one, I'm gonna say it, not obviously going to resonate with everybody, but I think some people may want to hear it. If, for example, you've been wanting to have children and the journey hasn't been easy, with Saturn being there, Saturn retrograde, it takes you back, can sometimes take you years back if there has been like an issue that's persisting. Around this full moon, this could suggest that your role is changing, and something that you've been trying to achieve so hard for so long can finally come to you. But that also means that you're gaining some sort of new responsibility. So this is ideal for those that have been wanting to become parents, because yes, while it is ending the cycle of, you, let's say, not having children, right? It also gives you that responsibility with it, right? With the 5th house Saturn, obviously, like you become a parent, no more partying, no more this, no more that. You adapt to your new role, to your new environment, and it's a different image, right? It's a different life. So that could be the case here for some. And yes, it doesn't have to be an eclipse for this to be the case. Now, when it comes to others who already have children, or don't want to have children, this right here is a moment where your disappointments, possibly regarding love, lead you to a really mature decision. It could be that with Saturn in the 5th, you may or may not have experienced that, people that you meet, if they are not good for you, life just kind of takes them away. It's like maybe they used to kind of linger in the past, and you were trying to figure out whether or not they're good enough or not. Now they just are out very quickly. Saturn does not joke with that, it's just like, nope, not for you. So because of maybe certain recent experiences that you may have had in your relationships, you now realize what exactly is needed from you. You may realize what kind of people you really want to see next to you, and what kind of relationship you desire, and how much you're worth. This could very well be a thing around this time, because Saturn, Saturn is a teacher. Yes, strict. Some may find it harsh. but it's still a teacher. He is still a teacher, I guess. So it's like it's teaching you how to do relationships, almost, in a way. And there could be this culmination around this full moon where a person that you may have had in your life, maybe recently, maybe you go way back, well, it's time to go on another level. It's time to complete what you've been doing, and now it's time to get more serious. This, of course, can also show you that, nope, this person is not for you, but there isn't really any struggle when it comes to this particular energy. You know, it's making a trine to you, so I feel like you feel kind of good about this, you feel confident about this, and you feel responsible almost, and you feel, you know, mature enough that it's like, I'm not gonna, you know, deal with these punks, like I'm you know, I know what I'm worth. And that's what Saturn teaches in the 5th house, and you know, makes you a lot more wise, almost, in terms of what you actually deserve in relationships. Yes, pregnancy I've already mentioned. Something, if you have children, something could conclude in their life in a way that you look back and you're like, oh my gosh, you know, they worked so hard for this. We all, our family, worked so hard to achieve this, right, for this child, and now it's coming to fruition. You know, that could be a time for achievements, time for good achievements, nice achievements for a child. Competitions you could also win, especially if those are like strength, like physical competitions. You could also win here. Also very, very nice, especially for Scorpio rising. But that's it for Scorpio. Thank you guys so much for watching, and now we're moving on to Sagittarius. Hi Sagittarius, I hope that you are doing well. You are a mutable sign, so of course this is pretty serious. If you are Sagittarius Sun, this along with you know, this energy along with Saturn does make a square to you, to your Sun. So this is about figuring out your living conditions for a couple of years, the next couple of years, really figuring out what brings you comfort, what brings you solid foundation, right? Whether it's your actual living conditions or how you feel at heart, how you feel inside. So I would say that sometimes it can be challenging to really figure out what is truly good for you. It can also be really hard to figure out maybe how to handle certain relationships of, you know, the people that are very close to you. And this full moon can really highlight, you know, the issues in relationships. It can highlight that maybe a critical situation or some sort of a crisis situation with your living conditions. You know, like it's time to decide something. It's time to move, or it's time to put this house on sale, or you know, it's time to maybe talk to your mother that you haven't talked to in years, for example, right? Saturn is retrograde. That's loosely conjunct this full moon. Takes you way back, you know, could be years back. And it's psychologically here, it might be a little bit difficult to understand what exactly the steps here need to be, because you may be feeling like you may be feeling a little alone, you know, with Saturn transiting your 4th. And with the full moon in Pisces, though, it's like, no, wait, you know, I am actually not alone. And if there is some sort of fog around your family situation, around your living conditions, around your real estate situation, there is that almost like a light, like a switch, where you start seeing the reality a lot more clearly. It's like no more fog, at least for the time being. No more fog, no more confusion. You see the reality clearly with your housing situation. You see the reality clearly maybe with that state that you potentially want to move to, right? You see the reality clearly what is happening within your family and how to fix it. This is actually like a blessing in disguise in a way, because this is the full moon that's going to shine its light onto a problem. And the problem of a private matter. 4th house, you know, this is a private matter. Not everybody in your circle knows about this. Not even maybe some of your family knows about this. It's like it's your personal thing here, or maybe family thing that you're working on here. And it's time to make decisions. It's time to make pretty big decisions. and like what you want to do, how you envision your future, and what you want to do about this now. So yes, I believe that a lot will be decided here. Maybe you will move, right? Or maybe you will sort out an issue with a family member, or maybe at least you will start seeing results. You will start seeing that not all is lost. Because I feel like there is some positive energy there, because, you know, Saturn is trying to just build a solid foundation. And in order to build a solid foundation, you have to kind of clear up the path and the ground. And if there is something missing, or if there is something problematic, well, that needs to be addressed before the foundation can start being built. And yes, sometimes it can be related to people we love, to our family members, right? To like parents, wives, husbands, and so on. So yeah, you know, there are maybe some things to address, but I think it will be very therapeutic and very helpful here, and you will be seeing the reality clearly. That's the most important part. And on a more, I would say, mundane level, you could receive a document about land, about like real estate. You could receive a document about immigration. Maybe you're wrapping up, I don't know, a citizenship matter, or maybe you're waiting on a visa. And this is something with Saturn here, so maybe it has been a very lengthy process. You could have been waiting forever for this. So that's wrapping up, that's good. And again, like I said, moving somewhere, you know, there could be a change in the life of one of your parents, for example. And again, it's something that they've battled for a while. You know, it's something that was possibly challenging. And you will see results, you will see clarity, you will possibly even be able to offer help, or you will receive help from a family member as well around this time. But thank you guys so much for watching, and now we're moving on to Capricorn. Hi Capricorn, I hope that you are doing well. So this full moon is happening in your 3rd house, and it's conjunct Saturn, which is your ruler, which will be retrograde during this time. There is a lot of reflecting you could be doing. There is a lot of looking back months from now, years from now. It's back, you know, it's a lot of time that you could be kind of scrolling in your head and processing and reflecting and trying to think maybe how you can change the future. What was it that was so important in the past that shaped your present, right? And what can be done now in the present that can shape your future? There could be a lot of analyzing going on here, especially during Virgo season and around this full moon. Your mind here will become more clear with this full moon in Pisces. If there are any confusions that you've got going on regarding the future, regarding your circle, regarding the job, regarding any kind of letters, any kind of communication, your mind will actually become a lot more clear, less, not wishy-washy, but like less foggy, and more, you know, almost like strict and precise and sharp. And you will be able to make a big decision here. A big decision that maybe you were kind of leading up to for a while, maybe for years. 3rd house, it is about communication. So the communication will happen here. And the conversation, I should say, right? The conversation will happen here with someone. Sorry if you can hear my cat by the door. There's always someone by the door, you know, some kind of a cat, either on the inside or on the outside. So forgive me for this noise, but so there is definitely that sense of needing to have a conversation brewing, you know, something brewing here. And yes, with Saturn being in your 3rd house, this could be regarding a promotion, for example. This could be regarding a raise. It's like, hey, I need to have this conversation with the, you know, the authorities, the higher ups. You know, I know what I'm worth, and I can see very clearly what I want from this position, what I want from my future, especially if you're a Capricorn rising. So this could be you seeking those answers and actually getting them. And I think that this could be a really nice outcome. It has to be, though, something that's been dragging from the past, from possibly even a distant past. Because everything is retrograde during this full moon. There isn't necessarily much newness happening. It's more like going back to the past, fixing old mistakes, wrapping up old things. So if that is relevant, then yes, you can do a lot here. And also, a document could come back or could come around that you've been waiting for a very long time. It's a travel document possibly, or some sort of a certificate, a diploma, I don't know, an affidavit of some kind. Yes, you know, an important document can come. But again, it has the energy of waiting forever for it, kind of having challenges with it somehow in the past. And regarding work, a long search, possibly a long search for a job, may be over around this time. You may find yourself finally in the right environment with the right people that help you grow and help you evolve somehow. But the search could have been pretty long and difficult, like a difficult journey to some sort of position that you can secure and you can be happy with, but it was a difficult start. And you acknowledge it and you feel proud of what you have accomplished, what you have achieved, and you're moving forward with this new role. So a new role is also very possible here, whether it's an online job, you know, you starting something of your own, or it is getting interviewed, getting the position, right? Whatever it is here, it's pretty good. But thank you guys so much for watching, and now I'm moving on to Aquarius. Hi Aquarius, I hope that you are doing well. So your full moon in Pisces is happening in the second house, and that's where Saturn retrograde is. And you know, this could actually be a situation where you may be looking back and just thinking how much maybe you had to overcome financially. Saturn hasn't been in your second house for that long, but at the time of the full moon it's retrograde, and since Saturn is like a karmic, a pretty tricky planet, you know, it's it can take you way back. It can take you even into the past lives and possibly hint at, you know, well, let's say the financial crisis that you may possibly be experiencing right now, especially if you're an Aquarius rising, could be stemming somehow from the past life. You know, there is some sort of an unresolved karmic issue that you have, like a issue really in a relationship with money that you may have from the past life or something like that. But I think also because you may find yourself maybe struggling sometimes to either hold a certain position, or maybe be able to save up, or be able to really feel secure. You know, I feel like you may acknowledge around this full moon how much you've actually overcome and how much you've actually achieved, because Saturn there teaches you how to do that hard work, right? How to navigate the challenges and how to become the best version of yourself, the best professional, or not the best for yourself, right? The best professional for yourself, the best parent for yourself, the best teacher, the best, I don't know, but you get it. So I think that Saturn has been teaching you how to become that professional. And around this full moon, the situation that has been super challenging with money, with maybe saving up for something, with being able to purchase something, with being able to sell something, gain from something, right? I think it will be resolved. And I think you will look back and you'll be like, wow, this journey was very difficult. And it could have been difficult for years at that point. Or maybe you could be thinking, yes, that journey was not easy, right? But finally, this is done. I no longer have to deal with it. And now I can move on to a new goal. Or now I can kind of start building my life in this new position. So yes, there could be, for example, a new role at work with a different income. But again, you worked hard for it. It was not easy. There's something here that has an element of not being easy. So whatever that is to you. Self-worth, though. Self-worth is a big one here, because you look back and you realize how much you have achieved, and that there is a reason to be proud. There is a reason to feel accomplished. And that, yes, if you really truly want something, you can do it. And if there's nothing to feel proud of for you specifically right now, like for example, you're like, well, I don't know what I've achieved in the last 6 months. I can't really think of anything. No, there will be something that actually gets highlighted around this time that will make you smile, at least, that will make you feel proud. And it could even be how you are perceiving yourself now versus 6 months ago versus years ago. Maybe someone may try to provoke a certain behavior in you, but your response will actually pleasantly surprise you. You will realize how much you have matured. You'll realize how much you have possibly changed, or gained more wisdom or something, but you will enjoy the outcome. And also, I gotta say that, this full moon can bring you money. It can. It could be maybe from some sort of an institution, like, government or something, a bank, like a payout can be received here, and you maybe even forgot about it already. Maybe you thought that you wouldn't even receive it, but here you are, you did it, you got it, finally. And the situation that at some point was very foggy is now very, very clear. And now you know exactly what to do with this money. But that's it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in my next reading. Bye-bye.